Hey guys, Eugene Cousins here, welcome back to the channel. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the upper pulley or single bolt configuration system. It's a hot topic. A lot of people have their opinions about it, and some of the bad experiences that have come from upper pulleys have been pin breakages, and Nirvana's been for the past, I would say, 2 years they've been drilling down trying to find quality issues or how best possible any improvements could be made to ensure that those pins are of the highest quality and that the problems aren't experienced by pilots. They did do an investigation about a year ago. I think the findings, they posted it on the website. A lot of guys are asking me opinions about it, but remember, it's not always my place to talk on behalf of the factory, especially not at that time, it wasn't. So this video specifically is going to be about talking about the possibilities that can influence your experience with the single bolt system. So we're quickly going to go over them. And also there's a part of the footage that's missing where you would remove the shaft from the pulley, and in order to do that you would need a circular plier. It's very simple to remove that clip. You can see it behind the pulley. I just didn't get the footage of that. So I will run extra commentary as I watch the video with you guys, but just quickly in summary, talk about the different types of situations that can occur. I don't want to duplicate things that I'm going to be talking about in the video. Always secure the flange correctly over the pins and then torque the center bolt down. Only with 2 fingers worth of torque pressure do you do that. If you over torque the center bolt, it's made of a metal that will break or disrupt the threading inside the pulley, and it's a protection measure that you should not be able to over torque it. Second thing that is important about this whole system is that if you flew once with the pulley unsecured, you might not notice any cracks or breakage or any signs of the pins cracking or being cracked. It could have lasted because they can bend up to a certain point and then they will break. So the more actions, negative actions impacts those pins, like bending or being unsecured or forces that are not supposed to be applied to them, then they can eventually break. And if they do, it's not necessarily because of that single flight experience you had. So always take care of, in general, of your flight experience and how you secure those propellers to make sure that those pins are well protected. The third thing that comes to mind that came up at the factory was that pilots can have prop strikes, could have destroyed their propellers, but the pins are still in place. And in the visual sense, you would think that the pins are okay, but they might not be. And there's a nice rule of thumb that the engineer talks about that we will talk about in a second in the video. You'll see it in a second there. And that is something that we never think about, whether you had a prop strike or not. Fourth and fifth things would be the balancing of the propellers and the material that the pins are made of. Those have been addressed by Nirvana. You get a little certificate with your prop that it has gone through a balancing process separate from just getting it from the supplier. Why does Nirvana make its own propeller? Well, we want to guarantee a certain amount of RPM that comes out of the engine, because if we do that, we can ensure that the engine's longevity survives. And other manufacturers do the same. Like Vitarazi, for example, won't take a 3-blade E-prop right now on the factory R engine yet because of the RPM that comes out of it. So it's all of these things that take processes where manufacturers and engine manufacturers are trying to ensure the longevity of the engine or the success of the engine by ensuring that it puts out a certain amount of RPM and not more. And like I said, the material on the pins that's been investigated by Nirvana has been improved. They're doing their utmost best to improve quality on all areas that we raise our voice as a community about. So it's not that they tone deaf to any of that. And on the warranty side, they've helped tremendously as best as they could. And a lot of our importers have also been part of that process to take broken pulleys from pilots, give them a new one, and then have it, they fix it themselves. So they rotate these pulleys up until where the problems start disappearing. So there's been a consistent effort from our side to try and improve the ownership experience. Guys, we're heading into the video. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments, and I'm happy to answer them. But let's get into refurbishing or doing maintenance on a pulley. So if we have to talk about replacing the drag spikes, this has been a hot topic for many years, because a period that we went through where some of these drag spikes broke. So I think, after speaking to Gabo, the lead engineer, about this, there are some things of big consideration when these pins can break and when they do break. So usually, let's take the first scenario, and that is if there was the customer or the pilot's had an accident, he's broken the prop. I think a very nice tip that he just gave is if there's less than 30 centimeters left of the broken propeller. So prop strike, there's less than 30 centimeters left of that prop. It means it was a very hard impact. Then he recommends automatically replacing all the pins, even though they might not be broken, replacing all the pins, and then also replacing the shaft, meaning that this is going to have to get an overhaul or a service to make sure that you don't have problems in the long run. Doesn't mean it's going to immediately show, but in the long run, it would be better to do that. So what we're going to do now is we are going to, obviously what Nirvana's done is they are a lot more conscious about balancing the propellers. All of the propellers that go into the service or gets into the manufacturing gets balanced, so we make sure that that's not a reason for breakage. Then obviously the other reason why the pins can break is if this was not nice and flushly added to when when adding the propeller, and then obviously making sure this is nice and flush, and it can start bending a little bit and then eventually break. So the material of the pins have also been checked to make sure that they don't break. And so I think what we're going to do now is just simulating, replacing one of these pins and how to do it, because we can get situations where guys get the drag spike from us or the drag spanner, and they break the drag spanner when replacing these pins. So we're going to just simulate that now. Replace one pin. No. Can we replace one pin?
Okay.
So what we're going to simulate now is replacing a drag spike because it's broken. Now, what we've never done in the past, never have told anyone to do in the past, and that is just lack of knowledge on our side, not the factory side, but on the importer side and dealer side, is the fact that if you are going to apply heat to these drag spikes to replace them, what they're recommending is removing the shaft first, because there are some plastic elements in here that can melt or be damaged by the heat. What are we talking about heat? When you apply the heat to the spike in order to loosen the Loctite when you are going to unscrew it. And so that constantly replacing all these spikes and applying all the heat, that's going to damage some elements on the shaft and the bearings and the seal here. So we're going to simulate this doing from scratch.
Yeah, I am this one.
Yeah, they'll melt.
I recommended the new bearing here.
Okay, so that is damaged because of heat, right? Why is that? Why do we have that?
That's just dirt.
Just dirt?
But they're pretty, there's not a lot of wiggle, but are they?
Why would you want to replace it? Just say that, why replace?
It's not lubricate good.
Yeah, it's not.
The cover is broken.
The cover is broken.
The cover is broken.
It's better for next time.
Okay, so have a look at this. As if you can see that there's a lot of glut, and that's just basically giving an indication that it is good to replace this bearing. If it's nice, the seal is obviously broken, and that is why you have that glut coming out of there. And it just points out to how relevant it is to replace these seals at the right time. Just to know if and when to replace the bearing before you have to take everything apart. If you just take the pulley with the shaft off the machine and you try and spin it over and it comes to a stop rather quick, then that's a good indicator that there's an issue there. You can then progress to the next step, take the circlip pliers, take that little clip off, get it off with hydraulic press, and then investigate that bearing if that little plastic cover or the oil seal that actually protects the bearing This is the bearing where the oil seal is built into the bearing. If that displays signs of there's a lot of soil, dust, rubbish that is just glutted up with or gummed up, I can call that's the right word, with grease, then you know that that's failed. That bearing's lost, is losing its lubrication, it's not doing its job, and replace it.
No, you need at least a good.
So the process we're getting to here is that he's going to simulate it now, taking it off and applying the heat to it. So you don't have to have a serious burner like that. This is industrial because I do a lot of work here with it. But if you have a propane lighter, it's a very small propane lighter that blows a nice little strong flame. For how long? How long apply the heat?
Half minute.
Half minute, 30 seconds.
Depending on your torch.
It's individual. It's
And that spanner has got to be nice and flush inside those holes. And if it's not nice and flush, it will snap those teeth off.
And don't let it rock.
Take your time. Make sure don't be too eager to get that out. But see how easy that comes out if it's done the right way.
I don't flamp this one. I flamp the well.
Right. He's saying he's not going to heat the pin.
Yeah. So
Heat the metal around it.
Just to highlight that, he wasn't applying the flame onto the pin, but he was trying to get to the base of the pin and on the well and behind it. So just applying the flame behind it where that heat translates all the way through and loosens up the glue.
Degradation. It's degradation material.
Mm-hmm. You lose
it's not use.
Okay, so the reason why you don't apply the heat just directly to the pin and let that go into the glue and loosen up the glue is because it degrades the integrity of the metal of the pin.
Yeah. Lose temper and strength. Oh, too hot.
No.
No, it comes down quick, eh? It's crazy.
Yeah, how many pins I've sent out.
Stop the video. I clean the.
Very important is he is using red Loctite on those pins. Now I usually use blue because I play a little bit more safe, but he is going to go with the red Loctite at factory.
That makes it.
I'm just going to quickly chime in here when it comes to the red Loctite. I'm not a fan of red Loctite. I think that it unnecessarily complicates the removal process of drag spikes or any bolts that have that applied to it. So my personal recommendation, whether you guys want to go with that or not, would be to use blue Loctite. So I differ from the factory when it comes to that. It's mostly for me, it is balancing the two issues off each other. Using blue Loctite and having the possibility of that drag spike loosening up a bit versus using red Loctite, it not coming out, but it being so much more difficult to loosen up and when applying heat and going through the whole process to remove a broken drag spike. To me, that balance is more on the side of the blue Loctite, and therefore that would be my personal recommendation.
Sense.
Is it? We'll ask later about why it's red.
Red, you're dead. Oh.
Don't have to over torque it. It is the Loctite that holds it in place.
I use two hand.
Yeah, But I mean, it's the glue doing the job. I'm always nervous of over tightening that because then it becomes more difficult to get it out, even if you heat it up. But if you don't use enough torque to put it in, then it is maybe protruding too far away,
Pushing
and
the
that is where
propeller.
the prop isn't actually. That's when you get damage on the prop.
Yep, exactly.
So I think that it's accurate to assume that if that spike
you have
does
a
not
propeller?
sink in deep enough, then the problem is going to be that as you add that propeller, you're going to have a situation where it pushes further away. That's where you can get flex on the propeller. It's not flush with the pulley, and the net effect of that is eventual damage to the carbon fiber. You see how that propeller has to go in all the way there. Now if that protrudes too far away, have a look at that. Let's say that drag spike didn't go all the way in, and so you get to have this flex eventually, which then causes damage on the inside of the propeller, which we have seen recently happening. So all of these things needs to be done in the right way, so that the net effect is that you wouldn't have to have maintenance or product damage eventually. All right, that's it.